The UES horizon drifted silently through the cold, dark expanse of the Andromeda cluster, a sleek vessel that looked almost fragile against the infinite backdrop of stars. Captain J. Park stood motionless, his eyes fixed on the holographic display that flickered with incoming data streams. Around him, the bridge hummed with quiet anticipation. Lieutenant Kim Lee, the ship's first officer, monitored the external communication channels. Her fingers moved swiftly across the quantum interface, filtering through layers of spatial noise. Something was coming. She could feel it in the subtle vibrations that ran through the ship's hull. "Captain," she called out, her voice calm, but sharp. "We're picking up multiple alien communication signatures." J. Park nodded, his hand resting lightly on the command chair. The Horizon was not a massive warship. By most galactic standards, it would be considered little more than a scout vessel. Small, seemingly vulnerable, almost insignificant. The first alien transmission came through with a burst of static. It was from the Krill Empire, a militaristic species known for their aggressive expansionism and technological arrogance. The voice was harsh, metallic, dripping with contempt. "Unidentified human vessel, you are entering restricted space," the transmission crackled. "State your purpose or be terminated." Commander Ralk, the Krill fleet's lead communication officer, couldn't help but laugh. His scaled fingers traced the holographic image of the human ship, a tiny speck against the massive Krill destroyers that surrounded it. "Look at this," Ralk called to his bridge crew. "Another human expedition, thinking they can wander where they don't belong." The bridge of the Krill flagship erupted in mocking laughter. Reptilian faces twisted with derision, their multiple eyes reflecting a mixture of amusement and contempt. Humans were known for their curiosity, but this was something else. This was pure foolishness. Inside the Horizon, no one seemed concerned. Captain Park maintained his steady gaze, watching and listening. Every communication, every signal was being analyzed by the ship's advanced AI systems. The Krill believed they were in control, but they didn't understand what they were dealing with. Lieutenant Lee's console began displaying complex mathematical patterns, quantum signatures that would mean nothing to the Krill, but represented a sophisticated communication and defense network. The ship's systems were gathering information with every passing second. "Prepare secondary tracking protocols," Park murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. The Krill continued their bombardment of aggressive messages. "Turn back now, human vessel. This is your only warning." But warnings meant nothing to the crew of the Horizon. They had traveled millions of light years, crossed impossible distances, and survived encounters that would have destroyed lesser ships. This was just another challenge. Outside, the Krill destroyers began to move. Their massive hulls gleamed with weapon systems that could obliterate most ships in seconds. They formed a tight formation around the Horizon, like predators preparing to crush a small, insignificant prey. What the Krill didn't know was that the Horizon was anything but insignificant. Every system, every component had been designed with a level of innovation that most galactic civilizations couldn't comprehend. It wasn't just a ship, it was a technological marvel. Captain Park allowed himself the slightest smile. The Krill thought they were in control. They thought they understood the situation. But they were about to learn a very important lesson about underestimating humanity. "Maintain current course," he instructed Lieutenant Lee. "Let them think we're just another exploration vessel." The dance was about to begin, and the Krill had no idea what was coming. In the vast, silent darkness of space, the small human ship and the massive alien fleet continued their deadly approach. One side confident, the other waiting, watching, and preparing. The Krill destroyers moved with predatory precision, their weapon systems charged and ready. 3 massive vessels surrounded the Horizon, each easily 10 times its size. Commander Ralk watched through the main view screen, his reptilian fingers dancing across communication panels. "Initiate primary containment protocols," Ralk ordered. His voice carried the confidence of a hunter who believed the prey was already trapped. On the Horizon's bridge, Lieutenant Kim Lee remained perfectly calm. Her fingers moved across quantum interfaces, recording every minute detail of the Krill's approach. Captain J. Park stood behind her, his eyes calculating, patient. The first warning shot came quickly. A plasma burst erupted from the lead Krill, destroyer, cutting through space with brilliant blue-white energy. It was meant to be a demonstration, a show of overwhelming force designed to intimidate. But something unexpected happened. The plasma burst simply, dissolved. It didn't impact the horizon. It didn't cause damage. Instead, the energy dissipated around the ship like water against a specially designed membrane. On the Krill flagship, silence replaced confidence. "Impossible," Ralk muttered. His multiple eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of confusion among his species. Inside the horizon, Tactical Officer Sung Min allowed himself the smallest smile. The ship's adaptive quantum shielding was working perfectly. Developed through years of secret research, the technology was unlike anything the Krill had ever encountered. Energy absorption at 99.7%, Sung Min reported. Shield integrity maintained. Captain Park nodded. Everything was proceeding exactly as planned. The Krill communication channels erupted in a mixture of confusion and anger. Their most powerful warning shot had been completely neutralized. The human ship hadn't just survived. It had done so with insulting ease. Another destroyer moved closer, charging a more powerful weapon system. This time they would show these humans true power. Multiple energy cannons began to build charge, creating a devastating network of potential destruction. Lieutenant Lee's fingers moved again. "Quantum dispersal field activating," she announced. The result was instantaneous. As the Krill weapons fired, their energy became scattered, divided, rendered ineffective. It was like watching water being split into countless tiny droplets before it could touch its target. Ralk's communication system began receiving panicked reports from his fleet commanders. "Our weapons, they're not working. The human ship. How is this possible?" The truth was simple yet complex. The horizon represented the cutting edge of human technological innovation. Every system, every component, had been designed with adaptability in mind. Where traditional military ships relied on thick armor and massive weapon systems, the horizon used intelligence, quantum mechanics, and revolutionary energy manipulation. "Maintain passive response," Captain Park instructed. "Let them continue." And they did. The Krill launched everything they had: plasma bursts, quantum disruptors, gravitational compression weapons. Each attack met the same fate: absorbed, redirected, or simply neutralized. Sung Min tracked the data. "Weapon efficiency analysis complete. We've experienced 0 structural damage." The psychological impact was becoming clear. The Krill were transitioning from confidence to confusion, and soon would move to fear. They had come expecting an easy demonstration of their technological superiority. Instead, they were witnessing something entirely unexpected. A small human ship was making their entire fleet look obsolete. As another ineffective weapon burst dissolved around the horizon's shields, Captain Park knew the next phase was approaching. The Krill would soon move from provocation to desperation, and desperation in space warfare was always a dangerous state. Lieutenant Lee caught the captain's eye. A subtle nod passed between them. They both understood what was coming next. The technological dance was about to become something more. The Krill thought they were hunting. They didn't realize they were the ones being studied, analyzed, prepared for. In the cold silence of space, the small human ship continued its steady course, surrounded by increasingly frustrated alien destroyers. Waiting, watching, preparing. The silence broke with sudden violence. The Krill fleet, frustrated by their failed attacks, launched a concentrated assault. Multiple weapon systems fired simultaneously, creating a web of destructive energy that should have obliterated any normal vessel. Tactical Officer Sung Min's fingers moved with surgical precision. "Targeting sequence initiated," he called out, his voice steady and calm. Captain J. Park watched the incoming attack with calculated patience. The horizon wasn't just defending, it was preparing to strike back. On the Krill flagship, Commander Ralk believed this would be the moment of total destruction. His multiple eyes focused on the targeting systems, anticipating the complete elimination of the human vessel. But something remarkable happened. The Horizon's quantum-entangled missile system activated. 3 precision projectiles launched, each one seemingly impossible, each one defying conventional weapon physics. The first missile found the lead destroyer's primary power core. It didn't explode in a traditional sense. Instead, it introduced a quantum disruption that caused the entire power system to collapse from within. The massive ship simply went dark, its systems failing instantaneously. The second missile targeted communication networks. Across the Krill fleet, communication channels dissolved into static. Command structures crumbled in seconds, leaving each ship isolated and confused. The third missile was different. It didn't attack hardware. It attacked the very computational systems that guided the Krill fleet's strategic responses. Lieutenant Kim Lee watched the tactical display. "Multiple system failures detected," she reported. Her voice carried a clinical precision that masked the incredible technological achievement happening before her eyes. The Krill didn't understand what was happening. Their most advanced destroyers were being systematically neutralized by a ship they had originally considered insignificant. Panic began to spread through their communication networks. "How?" Commander Ralk screamed into his communication system. "How is this possible?" The answer was simple yet complex. The Horizon represented humanity's most advanced technological research. Years of secret development, quantum research, and adaptive system design had created something beyond traditional warfare. Each missile was more than a weapon. It was a complex system of quantum information transfer, capable of breaking down entire technological infrastructures with mathematical precision. One by one, the Krill destroyers began to fail. Not through explosions or traditional weapon damage, but through complete systemic collapse. Their advanced technology became their greatest weakness. Sungmin continued tracking the engagement. "Weapon efficiency at 99.8%, he reported. 0 human casualties. Captain Park remained calm. This wasn't just a battle. It was a demonstration. A message to be sent across galactic communication networks. Humanity was not to be underestimated. The last Krill destroyer attempted a final, desperate attack. Its weapon systems charged, ready to unleash everything in one final moment of defiance. But it was too late. The Horizon's quantum disruption had already spread through their entire system. The destroyer's weapons died mid-charge, its propulsion systems failed, and its computational core simply shut down. Silence returned to the sector. The small human ship drifted among the now disabled Krill fleet. No explosions, no traditional destruction, just a clinical, precise neutralization of an entire military force. Lieutenant Kim Lee began compiling the mission report. Every detail, every moment of the engagement would be studied by human researchers for years to come. "Mission parameters completed," she announced. Captain J. Park allowed himself the smallest smile. The Krill had mocked their small ship. They had believed themselves superior. Now they would learn the true meaning of technological innovation. In the cold darkness of space, the Horizon continued its journey. Another message had been sent, another lesson learned. Humanity had arrived, and they would not be ignored. The Krill Empire's entire defense network erupted into chaos. What had started as a simple encounter with a small human vessel had transformed into a complete operational nightmare. Hundreds of communication channels burst with panicked messages, warning systems blared across multiple star systems, and military command structures began to collapse. Commander Ralk's flagship, now partially disabled, struggled to maintain basic functionality. His reptilian features twisted with a mixture of rage and disbelief. The human ship, barely a speck on their original tactical displays, had single-handedly neutralized their most advanced destroyer group. "Mobilize the entire fleet," Ralk screamed into the communication systems. But each transmission met with increasing silence. On the horizon, Captain J. Park remained perfectly calm. Lieutenant Kim Lee's fingers danced across quantum interfaces, tracking the cascading system failures spreading through the Krill military network. Complete communication disruption in Sector 7, she reported. Secondary defense grids failing. The Krill had never encountered a weapon system like this. The Horizon wasn't just fighting. It was systematically dismantling their entire technological infrastructure. Each quantum-entangled missile carried more than destructive potential. They carried intelligent disruption algorithms that could penetrate the most advanced defensive systems. Tactical Officer Sung Min watched the tactical display. What looked like random energy patterns to an untrained eye was actually a precise mathematical dance of technological destruction. Targeting primary communication relays, Sung Min announced. Another set of missiles launched, each one finding its mark with impossible precision. Across multiple star systems, Krill military installations began to go dark. Defense platforms stopped responding. Weapon systems became nothing more than expensive metal structures. The entire military machine was being shut down from within. Commander Rock's last desperate attempt involved gathering a secondary fleet. Massive warships that had been held in reserve began moving into position. They represented the absolute pinnacle of Krill military technology, ships that had defeated countless civilizations. But against the Horizon, they were about to become obsolete. The first reserve fleet approached with aggressive intent. Their weapon signatures suggested total annihilation. They believed their massive size and advanced technology would crush the small human vessel. They were wrong. As the reserve fleet charged their primary weapon systems, the Horizon's quantum disruption field expanded. It wasn't just a defensive mechanism anymore. It had become an offensive weapon that could systematically disable entire technological networks. One by one, the massive Krill ships began to fail, not through explosions or traditional combat damage, but through complete systemic collapse. Their most advanced technology became their greatest weakness. Mission progression at 87%, Lieutenant Kim Lee reported. Captain Park watched the tactical display. This was more than a battle. This was a demonstration of human technological potential. Every moment was being recorded, every system failure analyzed. The Krill communication networks descended into total panic. Their most advanced military force was being neutralized by a single ship that they had originally considered insignificant. Impossible. Commander Rock's final transmission echoed across multiple channels. This cannot be happening. But it was happening. Humanity had arrived, and they were showing the galaxy exactly what they were capable of achieving. Sung Min tracked the final stages of the engagement. Weapon efficiency at 99.9%, he reported. 0 human casualties. As the last Krill defense systems failed, silence returned to the sector. The Horizon drifted among the now disabled fleet, a testament to human innovation and technological superiority. Captain J. Park allowed himself the smallest smile. A message had been sent. A lesson had been learned. Never underestimate humanity. In the cold, vast darkness of space, the small human ship continued its journey. Another chapter in humanity's exploration had been written, not with traditional weapons but with intelligence, innovation, and an understanding of technology that went beyond simple destruction. The galaxy would remember this moment. The silence was profound. Countless disabled Krill vessels drifted like massive metal tombstones against the starry backdrop. The Horizon moved slowly, almost casually, through the graveyard of what had once been the most feared military fleet in the sector. Captain J. Park studied the tactical displays. No human casualties. Complete mission success. The numbers were clinical, but the implications were extraordinary. Lieutenant Kim Lee began compiling the mission report. Each data point told a story of technological superiority that would reshape galactic understanding of human capabilities. Total Krill fleet neutralization complete, she announced. Her voice carried no excitement, just pure professional precision. Tactical. Officer Sung Min continued monitoring the surrounding space. The quantum disruption field was still active, ensuring no unexpected surprises. Every disabled Krill system was being carefully analyzed, its technological secrets slowly unraveling. On communication channels across multiple star systems, news of the engagement was spreading. The Krill Empire's absolute defeat by a single, human vessel would become legendary, not through violent destruction, but through intelligent, precise technological intervention. Commander Ralk's final transmission continued to loop through communication archives. His panicked voice became a universal message. How is this possible? The answer was complex, yet simple. Humanity had evolved. Their technological understanding had reached a point where traditional warfare became obsolete. The horizon represented more than a ship. It was a statement of human potential. Each quantum-entangled missile carried more than destructive potential. They represented years of secret research, mathematical precision, and an understanding of technology that went beyond traditional military thinking. Captain Park knew this mission was more than a military engagement. It was a message to every civilization watching. Humanity would not be underestimated. They would not be controlled. The ship's AI began processing the collected data. Thousands of terabytes of information about Krill technological systems were being analyzed, stored, prepared for future research. Mission data collection at 99.7%. The AI reported in its calm, artificial voice. Lieutenant Kim Lee looked at Captain Park. A subtle communication passed between them. They both understood the broader implications of what had just happened. This wasn't just a battle. This was a demonstration of human innovation. Across the galaxy, communication networks buzzed with the news. A single human vessel had systematically disabled an entire advanced military fleet without firing a single traditional weapon. No explosions, no massive destruction, just pure intelligent technological intervention. Sungmin continued tracking the surrounding space. No recovery signals detected from Krill vessels, he reported. The horizon's quantum disruption had been complete. The Krill military infrastructure had been neutralized so thoroughly that recovery would take generations if it was possible at all. Captain Park allowed himself a small, calculated smile. The message had been sent. Loud and clear. Do not underestimate humanity. As the ship prepared to continue its journey, the disabled Krill fleet remained as a silent testament to human technological potential. Each metal hulk told a story of innovation, of mathematical precision, of a species that had learned to fight not with brute force but with intelligent design. The mission was complete. The statement had been made, humanity had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same. Lieutenant Kim Lee began plotting the next course. The horizon moved smoothly, almost elegantly, through the field of disabled ships. Another mission awaited. Another opportunity to demonstrate what humans could achieve. In the vast, cold darkness of space, the small ship continued its journey, waiting, watching, always moving forward. A single vessel. An entire civilization's potential compressed into mathematical precision and technological innovation. The horizon. Humanity's message to the universe.